I don't know about you, but I seem to have my share of ups and downs, my highs and my lows. And it seems sometimes that we need to regulate, keep it a little more even. But that's easier said than done. I was thinking of a story in the Old Testament, one of my favorite, about Elijah. And there was a guy that had a heart for God, and he worked extremely hard. He was full of zeal, and he wanted God to be known throughout the land. And of course, in 1 Kings 17 through 19, we read of the story where he calls all the people together, has the big OK Corral, the showdown, all the prophets of Baal on one side, hundreds of them, and he on the other, and calls down fire from heaven, and a great jubilant celebration takes place, and for all purposes it seems that much of the nation repents. Even the king Ahab seems to be turning. And then we notice Ahab going back to the palace where Jezebel was. She didn't show up after all. And when she hears all the news, instead of converting or instead of repenting, she vows to kill Elijah. And this sends Elijah fleeing. Now, some believe he was fleeing for his life because he was afraid, and there's probably an element of that. But for the most part, I believe he was fleeing more because he was bummed out. See, if he was just fleeing for his life, he would have gone south from Samaria and stopped in Jerusalem and hung out with Jehoshaphat. But it says he went 40 miles further. I don't know the last time you walked 40 miles, but that seems to be rather intentional. And we find out he was looking for Mount Horeb, the mountain of God. And he had something on his mind. He wanted to say, look, I'm done. I'm through. I'm no better than my fathers. Why don't you just take me home? Have you ever felt like that? I'm working hard. I'm trying. It just seems to fail. All of this work, all this effort, and all this happened, and Jezebel didn't even come. What's wrong? And God, in his patience, sends an angel to feed and refresh Elijah, then brings him to the cave. And it's in that cave that we see some remarkable things happen. It says that God told him to stand at the mouth of the cave, and then he brought forth some various elements. He asked Elijah, "What are you doing here?" Elijah replied, "I have been very zealous for the Lord God Almighty. The Israelites have rejected your covenant, broken down your altars, put your prophets to death with the sword. I'm the only one left, and now they are trying to kill me too." So God says, "Go out, stand on the mountain in the presence of the Lord, for I am about to pass by." And it says a great and powerful wind tore the mountains apart and shattered the rocks before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake. But the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake came a fire. But the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came, and this English version says, a gentle whisper. Interesting, gentle whisper. But when you look at the Hebrew, it's damama is the Hebrew word there, and it's actually from the word damam, which is a word that not only means silence or whisper, it goes further than that. It means to be still. It means to let go. It means to wait. And I believe with all my heart what God is saying to Elijah here is, look, I know you have your plans. I know you believe how you think it should be done. But it's a big world out there. There's a lot going on that you're not even aware of, and I have things to get done. And right now, you're going to have to wait. And right now, I have things that I need to accomplish. And there are those times that God is not in the stupendous before us. He doesn't come before us with great fire or wind or other displays of fantastical. But many times God is in the mundane. He's in the everyday. He's in those interruptions that seem to float our way when we need them the most. I like to think that God is in the wait. He said, look, Elijah, thank you very much. I appreciate your zeal, but I'm waiting. I'm waiting for man to accept me. I'm waiting for the hearts of men to turn to me. And I will be patient, and I will love, and I will reach out. So that causes me to re-examine. That causes me to look at things in my life. That causes me to examine where I'm at right now. What am I doing? What do I think about what I'm doing? If I lay it out before God and say I'm doing my best, I'm putting one foot in front of the other, I'm giving it everything I can, I will trust you to bring about the results. It might not be fire, it might not be wind, it might not be an earthquake, but it will definitely be within your scope, within your plan, and that cannot help but succeed. So let's join God today. Let's let him know that we're anxious, happy, and willing to be participants in what it is he wants done. And regardless of how small it may seem, how insignificant, or how disappointed we might feel, let's know that he's in control, that any time he could provide fire, wind, or earthquake, but for now, he waits. He waits for you. He waits for me. Have a blessed day.